ReefDudes is sponsored by Brightwell Aquatics and Bulk Reef Supply.
Today we're getting an update on the poison dart frog vivarium. What's going on, guys? Devin from ReefDudes, or today, LeafDudes. So the vivarium has been up for about 5 months now since we put plants inside of it, and we've had the frogs about 4 months now, so I figure it's time for an update, so let's get to it. Now it is crazy how quick the plants grow kind of relative to coral tanks, what I'm used to, but it's really starting to fill in, which is awesome. It gives that really natural kind of jungle vibe, which I'm absolutely loving with this one. We still have all 6 frogs, and it's usually kind of a game when you come out to the tank. It's almost like playing Where's the Frog and trying to find them all, and on average you usually see about 4 or 5 at a time. At a quick glance right now I can see 2 or 3, but it's always kind of fun finding these guys all over the place. I've only had one try and jump out once when I had the doors open, so for the most part these guys have been doing a good job of staying inside. And they've definitely been happy, as I have actually found eggs inside of the tank. I don't see them at the moment, but there was some little eggs right down there from some frogs. So I'm hoping eventually we might get some little tadpoles, which would be kind of cool. Now if that happens, I actually did add a little cocoa hut. And underneath that is a little 3-inch kind of plant saucer for a little drip tray. And I put some RODI water inside. And the cocoa hut on top, which gives them a little shelter if they want to move the tadpoles. So generally, once you do have tadpoles, one of the males, they'll actually put it on their back, and you'll see a little bump on their back, and they'll carry it and they'll transport it to water, which is pretty cool. As for the plant side of things, things have been really filling in. You can see the moss has basically taken over and covered the trees, which I think looks awesome. It really does give it that kind of naturalistic vibe. And some of the stuff too with the dust moss that I put on, there's little plants and all kinds of stuff growing out of it randomly, which adds to it, which I think is really cool. Now if anything, the moss is almost growing too well in some parts, as it's starting to overgrow some of the McGravy and some of the vines growing up the tree. So she may be due for a little bit of a trim soon. This guy, the Pepermonia Dark, is super cool. This one is an Ecuador species, and the variety you get in the leaves is really cool. It's everything from darks, greens, to vibrant greens, to yellows, and little bits of red in there, so it's kind of cool. This guy's been taking off, and I was actually debating planting something in that back corner, and this one's been filling out so much that I think it's just going to fill up the space over time and kind of provide that wall of greenery, so that should be pretty cool. My tiny little palm tree's been doing awesome. Way more leaves. This guy opens up way more now. And it also did have some little flower on top. So that might mean there's little buds. There might be more palm trees in the future, which would be pretty cool. The tiny fiscus is slowly spreading. This guy's taken ages, but it's finally starting to vine and grow up it, along with this guy as well. It's started taking off, and it kind of went down to the darkness and slowed down, and now it's coming up again. The bromeliads, of course, they seem pretty happy and pretty easy. They just kind of do their thing. They're definitely growing bigger. Like, these guys are starting to grow and touch the front glass now, but that's okay, because it gives kind of a funky look to it. I really like seeing everything filled in and vibrant. This little guy over here, this is a pup off of that one. So it's just spreading out definitely, and it's starting to grow and get some really nice colorations inside of it. The frogs are always active. They're honestly my favorite part. I'll literally see them, look over, and out of the corner of my eye, I see them leaping across the tank and climbing walls, and they're always a source of entertainment. Now, one thing I didn't cover last time is the misting system. So I do have 5 different misting nozzles in this tank, and this provides a bit of a natural rainfall to the tank. Now this turns on at 4 AM, 8 AM, noon, 4 PM, and 8 PM. And this kind of keeps the humidity up in here and keeps everything nice and watered and happy. Now this, of course, does feed from my misting system, and there is a 5-gallon ATO container down here. This gets refilled, I'm going to say topped up every couple days, so it's never empty. There's a float valve inside, and this is just kind of a constant source to feed the mister. Now, with misting that much, it would build up. You get some funkiness in the substrate. Now because of that, I got a big aquarium sponge in there, and I drilled it for a bulkhead. So there's a drainage layer that drains into this bin, and that makes it super easy because you never have to worry about anything building up in the substrate. Now, one of the questions I get all the time is how hard are they to keep? They're actually extremely easy pets. The frogs themselves, for the most part, do their thing as long as your humidity Room temperature is perfectly fine, and as long as the humidity is in a happy range, kind of about 70 to 90%, pretty happy range, they're going to thrive, they're going to do well. Now my misting system does keep everything right at the right range, so that makes it super duper easy. Now I did add a fan to the enclosure as well, so there is some ventilation. If we look up here, I do have a little 40mm PC fan, and I mainly installed this actually just to keep the glass clear. I've seen some other people's vivariums where you look at it, it's just like hazy, foggy, and to me that wasn't as cool. I wanted it to be crystal clear as my display. So that one little fan along with my ventilation on the top does a fabulous job of keeping the glass crystal clear. Now this enclosure does have little ventilation holes at the bottom, so it does create a bit of a chimney effect as it sucks it up through the vivarium. So like I said, the frogs themselves are extremely easy to keep, and honestly the hardest part of the whole process was culturing the fruit flies, which isn't even that hard, but that was the thing that intimidated me when I first got started. I wasn't sure if I wanted to deal with that, but at the end of the day you're culturing flightless fruit flies, so it's not like they're going to fly away and get all over your house as long as you're careful when you're doing it. So to do that, I basically make one of these cultures once a week. I mix in some powder, mix in some hot water, and about 3 weeks later it produces fruit flies and you have food for the next couple weeks. So the other thing I do is they will crawl up the sides of the container, so I'll just smack it, knock them all down, and then I dump it into a fresh container, then quickly put the lid back on. And when you do that, you got it down to an art, none of them really escape. You dust them with a bit of a calcium powder, and then you feed it to the frog. That's literally all there is to it. That's kind of my quick little trick for feeding them. And then I'll put some of these in the tank, and the frogs go nuts for them. So that's about all that's actually involved for feeding the frogs. Takes, less than a minute to do every day or two, and they will be happy campers. Now for actually culturing the flies, that again is also pretty easy. I put about 3 scoops superfly powder into a cup, add some hot water, stir it up, let it sit for a couple hours, and then I'll add a little bit of Excelsior media and add in some fruit flies. So super duper easy, and 2 or 3 weeks later it's ready to roll. And I do that once a week, so mixing it up is literally less than 5 minutes a week. And yeah, about a minute or two every day or two to feed them. Other than that, they are extremely easy pets. So not much to be to it. And that was the part that intimidated me before, but honestly, it's not even a big deal to do it. And it's extremely cheap to culture your own food over buying it from the stores. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that 5-month update on the Dart Frog Rainforest Vivarium. My little jungle is coming together quite nicely, and it really is an awesome way to bring a little bit of nature into your home. If you guys got any questions on vivariums or dart frogs or anything you want me to dig into more, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, if you enjoyed that, hit that like button and I'll catch you guys on the next update.